Hi Dollar Divas, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be testing out some new Dollar Tree makeup. If you saw my last Dollar Tree haul, I've hauled a bunch of new makeup. Plus I've got a couple other things that have been lingering around that I haven't gotten a chance to test out today. So I have literally like an almost full face of makeup. I've got complexion products, eyeshadow, brow products, all kinds of things. So I'm super excited. So when I posted my haul, some of you were asking for that makeup look. And I kind of had a change of plans and I wanted to put this look up first. But that look will be up here really soon. It was from a 2 Looks 1 palette, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video up first. So that will still be up. I just had a little change of plans. So if you're a returning Dollar Diva, thank you so much for coming on back for another video. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Jessica and I'm basically a bargain makeup channel. And what I mean by that is I like to make a lot of the same fun content that other makeup channels do. I just like to try to keep it in the bargain price point. So the closer to $1, the better. So if it sounds like you're in the right place, I do hope you'll become part of our Dollar Diva family here on YouTube. And as always, I'll have related content linked down below. That way you can binge watch more videos like this if you enjoy this type of thing. So yeah, like I said, I've got almost a full face. I've got foundation and powder from Prolux. I've got, there's a new Dollar Tree brand in here of eyeshadow, and then some new products by BPure and some IONI stuff. So without any further chit chat, let's just go ahead and get into today's video. So I do have a new eyebrow product. Do you remember this from my last haul? I actually hauled this when I was on a recent trip to Alabama. And I've got an IONI brow kit already that I have from, you know, 3 or so years back. But this one I noticed here was a little different. This has 3 brow shades plus an under the brow bone highlight. The other one that I have has a brow wax, a under the brow bone highlight, and then it has medium and dark brown. This has a light brown shade and no wax, so it intrigued me. Plus the shades kind of look a little cooler, especially that dark brown there, so I'm really excited to try this. And the under the brow bone highlight is more of a white shade than it is like a cream shade like my other kit. So I think I'm gonna go into that medium brown shade. I'm gonna use my LA Colors brow brush. I hauled this recently. I'm gonna comb through real quick. I'm gonna start off lighter on the inner part and get a little darker as I go out. I think the light shade might be a little too light for what I got going on. I'm going into some of that dark shade here too. I'm gonna kind of deepen it up a little bit. So if I've seen this product before, I haven't noticed that it was different than the one that I have. Making a little bit of a mess. And so in my last video, I got some compliments on my eyebrows. People were saying they liked the softer look. And the reason is I used a brow powder. I used the LA Colors brow kit that they came out with last year. So a brow powder is generally gonna be a much softer effect than a pencil. And of course, I will be cleaning these up as well, as we always do. A little bit of a thicker brow, but like I said, I'm gonna be cleaning them up. Of course, as always, I'll have a rundown of all the products and kind of give some speed reviews and first impressions. So BPure recently came out with a clarifying powder. And so I found the clarifying concealer as well. I got the shade Nude, and so it's for acne prone skin. It's got salicylic acid in it, and you can use it for extra coverage on any imperfection, it says. So here's what it looks like. It has kind of like a sponge tip type of an applicator. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this to clean up my brows just because I do wanna test it as a concealer. Gotta kind of roll it up till it comes out. These usually take a little while, but when they do, they do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna take my flat, sassy chic brush and go in, just grab a little bit of that product. We'll use this to conceal as well. I don't have any blemishes to test it on, so I will do something that you're probably not supposed to do, and that's just use it under my eyes. But I'm not gonna be wearing it long today because honestly, it's snowing and icing out and I'm not going anywhere, so I'm gonna end up probably not leaving this makeup on very long. Coverage is okay. Probably not the best thing that I've used to clean up my brows with. It has like a little bit of a smell, nothing crazy, nothing that I can smell unless I try to. I'm just gonna take my concealer brush and just kind of diffuse it a bit. So for cleaning up my brows, I don't know that I like it as much as I like the hydrating one. But like I said, this is kind of a different type of product. It's really supposed to be used for like pimples and blemishes. So like I said, I will use it to conceal a little bit later and we'll test it there as well. But so far, so good. So off camera, I just added the AOA Studio Shadow Stay eyeshadow primer. And you'll have to excuse my nails. I am, I'm letting this set fall away and then I'm gonna get them redone here in a couple weeks. So it's a little sloppy, but just, yeah, just bear with me. So for eyeshadow, I recently hauled these. These are from the Sweet Shop. And so they got different little things on them. Like this one here has donuts on it. This one here is like a cupcake. And this one here's got like macaroon. They don't really have names on them other than that. It just says Dream in Pastel. So I'm gonna try to get a look between these palettes today. I'm gonna try to just use these palettes as well, even though pastels and me don't always get along. So here's all three color stories. I kind of figured this one here, I might could get a little bit more of like the darker shades that I like and some more definition. So I'm gonna start by going into this shade right here and putting it like all over my lid. And something I hauled recently that I thought would be really fun with this look is I found these lashes. They're butterfly lashes from IONI. I thought these might look really cute with this. I intended on using them for like a fairy like makeup look, but I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. And I still will do that. I just figured they'd be really perfect to test these eyeshadows since these eyeshadows came along. This is actually, I think, having a decent payoff on my eye. You know, for the color that it is, you know, it's not much more than flesh tone, but I do think it's going on pretty decent. And I've had some people send me some reels on Instagram where people are hauling Marie Claire makeup and Profusion, and there's another brand, begins with a G. So I'm definitely gonna be on the hunt for some of that other stuff as well. It's getting to be that time of the year when Dollar Tree starts rolling out new stuff. And my brushes are clean too, which you know I usually don't start off with dry, clean brushes. So I'm gonna go into one of the other palettes and go into this shade here and just try building this up. And use a different brush here. And I'm just gonna pack this in. I'm just gonna see what it does. Except pastels are not always the easiest for me personally. Okay, that's doing a little something, you know, for the colors they're showing up, you know. Okay, now I'm gonna wanna start deepening it up. I'm gonna go into this little pink palette and go into this shade right here. And I'm gonna use a short, kind of more compact brush. I think I've gone into each palette so far. I'm gonna really pack it on there. And I'm gonna just see if this won't deepen it up a bit more. Oh yeah, listen, that's doing it. I'm actually a lot more impressed than I thought that I would be. I went a little heavy-handed, so I get a little bit of fallout, and I am really packing it on the brush, so I'm going a little heavy-handed. I'm gonna use my previous brush and just blur the edges there. Okay, so we've got a nice base laid down. I really want to go into this teal shade right here. We've also got kind of like a more muted blue. We get that kind of mint green. Ooh, what am I gonna do? I think I'm gonna go into that shade right there, and I'm gonna put that kind of on the, not quite on the inner, but the middle part of my lid. My brush is damp. I did have to clean this one off, but it's like a flat brush. But I'm not gonna spray it after I put the shadow on. My brush is just a little damp on its own. And I'm gonna put this in the middle of my eye and just kind of see what happens. Of course, I'm getting a lot of fallout. Like I said, I'm very heavy-handed. I'm really hoping I can get a look today that I'm happy with. I usually always make it work, I feel, but sometimes there is that worry that today's gonna be the day. Of course, obviously, at first glance, the things I don't like about these palettes is that there's really no brown or something like that to really kind of round out the look. That darker kind of maroon color is kind of the closest thing we got. And there's no shimmers. I wish each one had at least a shimmer, but I'm gonna see what we can't achieve. I think I'm gonna go into that shade right there and put that towards the inner part of my eye. Like I said, the hardest, and I just have another like flat, thin brush. And this will just kind of brighten the inner part of my eye a little bit. And it does. Maybe the lashes will kind of be enough to add that little extra zing that I want instead of some shimmer. That color actually has a whole lot more punch than I thought it would. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause on the eyeshadow for right now. I'll probably come back and you know, add under the brow bone highlight, smoke out underneath, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna move on to liner and lashes. So for lashes, if I have tried this before, it's been a really long time. Now I love the IONI, as you know, if you've been with me, I like the IONI Lengthening Mascara with Fiber. And if I've tried this before, it's been a long time, but I decided to give it a try. The IONI PhatLash Dramatic Mascara. So, like I said, I do like to try things, even if I tried them a long time ago. If I can't remember, that's no good, you know? So it comes in this like giant tube. It's got pink writing on it, just like the Lengthening with Fibers. And it's got this big giant brush. I don't know if this is like their initial, and I'm gonna be wearing fake lashes, but I'm gonna put a coat of this on and just kind of see what it's like. Their initial mascara that they came out with was kind of a fat tube and it had white writing on it, but I don't know if this is the same as that or not. So far, like first impression and like first coat, like, and I'm only gonna put one coat on, but I don't think it works as good as the Lengthening with Fibers. That's just kind of my first impression opinion. So I'm gonna be using the IONI Lash Glue Liner in one. Then of course I'm gonna be using these from the Lash Fair. These are the Wispy Natural Doll, and they've got little butterflies on them, so I thought these would be really cute. I may have to trim these. I usually do have to trim IONIs, but we will see. I would rather not if I can get away with it, but I just don't know that I'm gonna be able to get away with it. Yeah, I think trimming a little bit off the inner part will do me some good. So I'm just gonna add some of this liner glue. Then I'm gonna place these on and we'll see. Hopefully they don't look absolutely crazy ridiculous. One thing I can tell you is where the butterfly is sticks. It's sticky, so it's like sticking to my fingers. Now granted, I don't like to use tweezers when I put on lashes. It's just not the way that I do it, but the little butterflies are sticking to my fingers and they're sticking to the other lashes. I had to separate them a little bit. Okay, one is on. So far so good. They're really actually very pretty, like not as obtrusive as I thought. They're actually really, really, really pretty. So let me pop the other one on. I will be right back. Okay, so I've got them both on. I think they're fairly even. And final thoughts at the end, but weren't too hard to put on. I'll just say that. Okay, so now I'm gonna try some new complexion products. And y'all, I know you guys are excited. I'm super excited as well. I was able to find the other day at my Dollar Tree the Prolux products. So I got 3 different shades of both the foundation and the powder. So I'm gonna try one shade of each today. So this is the Prolux Matte Foundation. Looks a lot like e.l.f. I actually thought it was e.l.f. before I got closer to it. This is the shade Sand. I like it that it comes on a pump bottle. And I've had mixed reviews from you all on this. Some people have said it's really heavy and thick, and then some people have said that they really, really like it. So we will just see. It does have kind of a powdery smell to me. I'm hoping this shade is kind of okay as well. Looks a little light, but we'll make it work as we always do. It does seem to be very, very pigmented, like very full coverage. Like I said, it's a little light. See, it's hard to tell because like looking at the packages, you just can't really always tell. I've got a couple other shades that I think are a little bit darker and or like a little bit warmer as well. Okay, so we will darken it up with some bronzer, but it's really, it doesn't really feel super thick or heavy. It's got a little bit of a smell, a bit of like a powdery kind of a makeup smell, but usually I find that dissipates, kind of like the clean color smell. But yeah, I think it's very full coverage. Like I said, it's a little light for my skin, but we're gonna fix that here really quick. Of course, translucent powder is not gonna help. I might actually try one of the other shades instead. So I'm gonna use the shade Bisque of the Prolux setting powder. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that concealer on under my eye and around my nose. I know it's got salicylic acid in it, but like I said, I'm not gonna be wearing it for an extended period of time. So I just wanna see how it covers up, and I don't have any like breakouts to test it on, so I'm gonna test it the best way I know how. The concealer kind of smeared a little bit under my eyes. I don't know if that makes sense. So I had to kind of use the Beauty Blender other than the brush. The brush was kind of moving it around. It was kind of unnecessary. Okay, moving on. So I'm gonna use some of this powder here. I'm gonna use one of these triangular makeup puffs, and I'm gonna tip it upside down, get some of the product. This is kind of a messy container. I find that it's like leaking out the sides a little bit. So I'm gonna set under my eyes. The shade's really nice. This will help darken it up as well. Usually I go for a brighter powder, but I was a little nervous with this shade of foundation. I'm gonna go up into my forehead, in between my eyes. Then I'm gonna take a brush, and it definitely darkened it up, like definitely warmed up the foundation. We'll try the translucent shade another time with one of the other shades of this foundation. Alrighty, there we go. So I've got some thoughts. I will share them with you when we come back, but I'm glad that it definitely, I think it was definitely a good call to not use the translucent with this foundation shade. So I feel like we got a little bit of a handle on it. I do feel a little bit like overall, it looks a little bit cakey and maybe a little bit muddy. I don't know if that's maybe the powder with a slightly lighter foundation or what, or if I'm used to seeing my under eye area a little bit brighter. That probably is a big thing. I don't love it so far, but like I said, we'll try different color combinations as well, because I bought 3 different shades of each to try. I'm gonna pop on some LA Colors bronzer, and then we're gonna come back and try a new blush. Okay, so I just added some bronzer, and now I'm super excited because y'all, you know I've been looking for this for a while, and they did not have it at any of my Dollar Trees here. anywhere within an hour radius. But when I was in Alabama, I found the BColor liquid blush in Coral Crush. So I am so excited. I love the one in Party Pink, one of my favorite Dollar Tree products. And yeah, now I've got it in Coral. And I love the shade, the other shade on me for a pink. It's just like perfect, but I'm really excited to try a coral because I know coral usually is like perfection on like skin tone like mine. So there's what the shade looks like. And I'm just gonna take my damp beauty blender and just really diffuse it out. A little of this goes a very, very, very long way. And there we go, just a little bit. You don't wanna look crazy. I like the coral shade. I don't know that I don't like the pink shade better though, to be honest. I think the pink shade's a little bit deeper. But yeah, look at that. But it is a nice glow. Like I said, as long as you go with a light hand, you won't go overboard. But it's very easy to go overboard with liquid blushes. Okay, so I just popped on some e.l.f. Shimmer highlighter. I got this at Dollar Tree a few years ago, so I just put some of that on. Now we're gonna go up and finish up the eyes. So I think for an under the brow bone highlight, there's not really anything in any of those palettes, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back into the eyebrow kit. I'm gonna use the under the brow bone highlight in there. Tap off my brush so it's not too much. Just kind of diffuse it a little bit so it doesn't look crazy. Use that first brush. There we go, so we got a little under the brow bone highlight. I think for the inner corner, I'm gonna do something a little fun and a little unexpected. I'm gonna go into that bright yellow shade right there and take a little tapered brush. And I'm just gonna really just dig into that. I think I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of setting spray as well. I'm gonna see if this doesn't have like a fun little like pop. Ooh, it does. Okay, it doesn't really show on camera as much or in my front mirror, but when I take like a little handheld mirror, I kind of see it. So I'm gonna smoke out underneath. I'm trying to think if I wanna go in with that really funky like blue or if I wanna go with the shade that I started with. I think I'm gonna go with that maroon shade. Pack on the brush, I'm gonna tap my brush off so I don't make a mess. There we go. Sometimes that is just the finishing touch a look needs. So I think I'm gonna be done there with the eyes. I might add a little bit of pencil liner. Okay, so I just added some brown pencil liner. This one's from e.l.f. that I got at Dollar Tree. So we're gonna go ahead and move to lips and then I'll give my final thoughts on these products. So I'm gonna line my lips first with the IONI PhatChubby stick. This is in Plum. And so I've got a new lip plumper from IONI. This is the Plump It Up lip plumper. It says high shine, moisturizing, and it smooths lip lines. We'll see. This is in the shade Red Cocoa, and it does have a hot alert on it. And this is from their the Beauty Fair collection. So I've got a couple of lip plumpers from IONI, and they will set your lips on fire. I've got one in like a reddish shade, and then I've got one in like a pinkish gold. So I just wanted to kind of test out what this shade was like. I don't think I like the packaging as much as I like the old packaging, but the color had me intrigued. Ooh, that's a nice shade. It doesn't seem, putting it on, it doesn't seem as juicy as the other lip plumpers I have. In fact, it's a little bit hard to make like a nice line along the lips. Like it's a little splotchy. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I feel like I have to go in and correct my lips. So my lip plumper is on, and the first impression is I don't like this color with this eye look. That was probably a poor choice on me, but I will give my final thoughts on the plumper at the end. That way it can start giving the tingle or not. So I'm gonna start at the beginning. So the brow kit, I really, really like it. I think it's a little bit cooler toned, especially the dark brown, and I like that it has 3 different shades of brown, even though I probably wouldn't use the light shade unless I was blonde. But I don't really mess with a wax, so I don't mind that there isn't a wax. I do think I prefer more of a bone shade for the under the brow bone highlight. So this one has some, this one has some pros and some cons against the other one, which has some pros and cons. So it's really nice to probably have both in your collection. So not bad. It might actually be a little bit better for maybe people that have lighter hair and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, not bad. It's a nice brow kit. It gives you a nice soft effect, and I do like that there isn't a brow wax because that's not something that I usually use anyway. Then the concealer. It was just okay in my opinion. I like some other concealers better from BPure that clean up my brows. Now granted, this is something that you're supposed to probably put on zits and breakouts, which I don't have, so I can't really test it. I didn't really like it under my eyes, but it's not really meant to go under there anyway. So I can't really, now I do think it looks like it's half empty already, which I don't like, but you know, it's $1.25. I think I was talking to a Dollar Diva about shrinkflation, that you get less product or smaller products for the same money. But yeah, like I said, this is probably not a product that I would personally buy unless I had like a breakout or something like that. But if you have breakouts, you'll have to test it for yourself, because like I said, I can't test it on a breakout because I don't have any. But definitely not my favorite concealer from BPure. Then the mascara. Not, for me, in my opinion, not as good as the lengthening with fibers. It just didn't do as much. Like for that first coat, the IONI lengthening with fibers, I think just has such more like a dramatic effect. So for me, this is just kind of very typical with most Dollar Tree mascaras. The eyeshadow palettes, really, I mean, a lot more pigmented than I thought. I didn't think I would get a look that was this pigmented. But the only thing is, you know, it's all pastel. So I feel like unless you're doing a one and done or like a watercolor look, you kind of would want to use these maybe with something else. Do I think they're better quality than like the LA Color 12 pans or the pastel palette that Beauty Intuition came out with? No, they are fun. And they're probably better with like a lighter skin tone too. Like I said, I am pleased with how pigmented they were. But overall as a look, I do wish there were some shimmers. I today wanted to use them and try to just stick with them and not go into something else. But I do find myself missing shimmers. But overall, not terrible. Not the best, but not terrible. Then the lashes, I think they're really, really cute. They were a little hard to put on because the little butterflies were sticking to my hand, to my fingers. But like I said, I did trim them, but they're really very pretty. They're not as like intrusive as I thought. Like I feel like I could actually wear these on stage and it wouldn't be too crazy, you know what I mean? It's just got a nice little flutter of like these little iridescent butterflies. So I think they're really cute. I actually like them a lot better than I thought I would. The BPure Liquid Blush in Coral Crush. I think I like the other shade better. I really do. I feel like it actually, I feel like I could have put more on my skin, but I try not to go overboard. I feel like the other color, the Party Pink, is actually a little bit deeper and actually looks better on my skin. I think that's like the perfect shade pink for my skin tone. So I of course will try it again, but of course I love the quality of these blushes, so the quality for me is great. But yeah, I think between the two shades, I like the other one better. Then the foundation, I don't think it's any better than a Candy Moyo. Like I said, it does have a scent, so if that bothers you, you won't like it. It is very, very thick. It is very, like I don't, you know, I wouldn't mind, I can wear this in work. This would be no problem, and I will definitely use it for shows and stuff. So yeah, so, and it does seem to have like really full coverage. And like I said, I get a couple other shades, so that I've got some darker shades, but I was able to make it work bronzer and a darker powder. So yeah, really, like I said, if you don't find this, honestly, I think the Candy Moyo is, I still am gonna find that I think I reach for my Candy Moyo, but a nice matte foundation, if like what I said, scent doesn't bother you and you don't mind a more, a thicker formula foundation, something that's a lot kind of full coverage, then you might like this. And they seem to have a lot of shades at a lot of different Dollar Trees. When you do stumble upon it, you probably, hopefully, will find a shade that could work for you. Then the powder, like I said, I got a translucent and I got two different shades. Today I did Bisque. I was gonna do translucent, but I was a little afraid with the foundation being lighter. And this is, it's called the Onset Extra Fine Setting Powder. The container itself is like a little messy, like it's kind of wanting to come out the sides, but that's kind of, that can be typical with a loose powder, you know, you get what you get. But I like it, you know. Like I said, because of the shade, I didn't get as much of a brightening effect under my eyes, but it really did help, the shade Bisque really did help balance out the foundation being lighter. And my skin, I feel, does look really, really nice. Like the two products together, I think got a really nice effect. Like I said, I will definitely wear these in work over the course of the year on the stage. So not bad at all. Then lastly, the IONI Lip Plumper. The one pro I can say is that it doesn't seem to burn. I've had mine on now probably for a good 3 minutes or so. It doesn't seem to burn like the other ones do. So I don't know if they turned it down a notch. I don't like this color with this eye look, but I do like the color. I think the color would look nice with another kind of makeup look. I don't like this packaging as much as the packaging of the other lip plumpers that come like in the square. And I felt like this was a little bit harder to work with on my lips. I feel like the other stuff was just a little bit more decadent and rich. I felt like this was just a little bit more, I had to work with it a little bit more to not be messy around my lips. So not super impressed with the lip plumper like I have been in the past with IONI's, other than the fact that there's a slight little coolness to the lips, but I'm not having like a super bad tingle like I've had with the other ones. And who knows, it could just be the day. I don't know, it could just be my lips today. I don't know, but it doesn't seem to burn as much as the other ones. So I hope you enjoyed getting to see me test out some of this new makeup. Of course, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you think if you've tried some of these products. And I still get some more makeup to try, and I'm so excited. Yeah, I feel like it's been a little while since I've tested out new Dollar Tree makeup because there just hasn't been much here lately. Definitely go check out my other content down below in the description box and binge watch some of my other content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.